Hey, welcome back to our video fly tying series. I'm Steve Worley, owner of the WORLEY-BUGGER Fly Company, and today I'm going to show you how to tie Frank's Big Hole River Bugger. So, Frank Stansfield, well-known guide outfitter on the Big Hole River in Wise River, Montana. I used to tie these really, extraordinary woolly buggers. Really super popular pattern to fish on the Big Hole. And I always loved going into Frank's shop, watching him tie up, these Big Hole buggers and buying them from him. And over the years, caught lots of, nice browns and rainbows. And, I've even brought them back here to Central Washington and, fished them for smallmouth and largemouth bass. Work great in a variety of colors and sizes. Today we're going to tie up a size 6, black and orange. The woolly bugger, super popular pattern, but with Frank's twist on here. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to tie Frank's Big Hole River Bugger. Okay, so let's get started here on Frank's Big Hole Bugger. First thing that you're going to need is a 4X long streamer hook. And you can tie these inside, basically whatever size you want. This happens to be a size 6. I do tie them a little bit larger for bass. Up all the way up to size 2. So, basically any size that you feel is appropriate for, the type of fishing that you're going to do. But today we're using a size 6 Gamakatsu. So we'll tie our thread in. And we'll just lay down a thread base on our shank here. And again, you can tie these in a variety of different colors as well. Today we're going to tie a black and yellow. So the first step here is selecting some finer marabou plumes. I usually just use 2 for the tails. So we'll take and we'll even the tips. Get a measurement here. You want it about the same length as the shank of your hook. You can lay it up there and tie that in really well so your tail's not moving around on your shank. Like I was saying in the introduction there, a lot of times we're fishing these on a dry line, and since there's no bead or cone or any type of weight affixed behind the eye, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some pencil lead here. So we'll just take and line this on the shank, and this will give us some weight. Not fishing this fly super deep, so we'll wind that in, trim that back, make sure you use the back portion of your scissors so you don't ruin your tips. Try and keep it all nice and tight and uniform. That'll keep your body uniform and keep your proportions in your fly looking a lot better. So then we'll just take and just run your thread through there, and that'll kind of help bind that to the shank and kind of fill in between those wraps there. Keep your body from moving on your fly. Okay, so one kind of technique that I like to do myself is use another bobbin. So I just connect this bobbin with the color thread that I want. I'm just going to use black. So we'll just connect that in the back, and then we'll pull it back out of the way. We're actually going to use that to bind our hackle down later when we're finishing our fly instead of wire. You can use wire too if that's what you like. So the first thing you're going to do is take a piece of fine black chenille, again whatever color you decide, and just take your nail and expose the threads underneath there. It'll just kind of help create less bulk at the back of the fly. Again, just kind of keeping your proportions intact. And we're going to just bind that down. Real well. Pull tight on your thread. Make sure that's tight in there. It's not going to come out. And then next we're going to take a piece of orange chenille, and we're going to tie it underneath. So you can just kind of make a couple of wraps there before you tighten it all down, and get it situated where you need it to be underneath the shank. And tie that in. You can kind of see how everything is proportionate there in our body all the way up. Got a little tiny bump right there. We can fill that in with our chenille when we work it forward. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to tie in some white rubber legs. These are medium size, and Frank always tied these in a little bit different than how you see regular woolly buggers. So they're kind of tied in at the top, creating movement more on top of the fly than on the side. So what I do is I just take it, put it around the thread, kind of forming a V there towards yourself. Bring it up on the top, and then just affix it right to the top of the shank there, and then you can get them in place, and then bind it down. And don't worry if they're long. You can trim them now if they're too long, but I'm going to show you how to keep them out of the way while you're tying. So we'll progress our thread forward to our next spot here, and we're going to tie in another set the same exact way. So you're just going to capture that right on the top there and tie it right in on the very top of the hook shank. Pull tight. And we'll just move our thread forward here to just back behind our eye. And then these legs, it can get a little tedious, you know, trying to work your chenille around them. So I just usually just pull them forward, and I just make a couple of wraps, real light wraps around the legs, just to kind of get them out of the way so we can get our chenille started here on our fly. So we'll start palmering this down the body, and when you do, make sure that your orange chenille is underneath, because that's really important for this fly. So we'll just start moving forward, and once you get to the back of those first set of legs, then you can just kind of let go of that. Will pull those legs out. And just to get the front legs out of the way so we can continue with building a good clean body here on our fly, we'll just keep wrapping forward. We get to the back of those, and we can just let them go there. Bring your chenille in front. And come just behind the eye. You want to leave just a little bit of room there. Finish everything off. Tie this chenille off real good. And cut off your excess. Don't cut off your thread like I just did. If you did, it's not the end of the world. So we'll just reconnect it. And I'll make a half hitch there. Okay, so our next step here is to take our orange thread, or excuse me, our orange chenille, and we'll pull it tight up underneath that body, like so. And we'll make a few thread wraps, pull tight, and then you can cut that piece out and finish with a few more thread wraps, tying that in. So that gives you that really distinct color, body color underneath. So your next step is going to be to select your hackle. This is a grizzly hackle, yellow and black. So we're going to take and we're going to expose the stem there to tie it in right where we stopped our chenille. So we'll just bind that quill right down and then trim off the excess. And then you can wrap it. I like to use a hackle plier, just these longer hackles like this, you know. Some tires don't feel the need, but I just feel like I get a little better control of where I want the placement of the hackle to be. So we'll just work it through all the way to the bend. It gives you a little weight when you finish up at the back there too, to keep the feather in place. So now I'll just take this bobbin and I'll tie it off with a half hitch and I'll cut it out. And this is where our other bobbin comes into play that we mounted on the bend back at the beginning of the fly. So we'll take this now, and this will reinforce the hackle that you're tying in. So we're just moving this forward. Pulling tight as we go. Don't pull too tight. You don't want to break it, because then you're gonna have some problems and some issues. So just pull tight, bind those just like you would with a wire. Just move it through there, binding those hackles down, and it'll reinforce all of it and just make a little bit more durable fly. And once you got that, you can trim the excess off your hackle and remove your hackle plier. And we'll just pull those hackles back and finish it. You can whip finish the fly if that's what you like. I'll just do a couple of half hitches here. And then we'll just take and use a little UV glue to glue the head. Blast it with your light. And kind of the last step is just to adjust your leg lengths that you like. Don't cut too short, because you can't add more to it, but you can just kind of fine tune it for the length that you like. There you go. Really simple woolly bugger, but absolutely fantastic. Very, very good fly for fishing in the spring, high water. Great for multiple species, and especially if you're going to southwest Montana to fish, definitely have some of these in your box. And again, probably one of the most underrated flies here in central Washington as well. So appreciate you watching, appreciate you sharing. Frank's Big Hole River Bugger.